Johannesburg CBD, where we find my colleague, senior reporter Aviwe Mtila. He is with more ANC officials who are arriving outside the City Hall, of course, for the memorial service of Jessie Duarte. I see you interacting there with NEC member Jeff Radebe and others there, Aviwe. What are they telling you today?
Maseko, you'll forgive me, I keep losing your audio, but the Deputy President, David Mabuza, just walked in some 30 or so seconds ago. Now I've got two NEC members here, that's Jeff Radebe as well as Dr. Tony Yengen. Get some reactions, of course, ahead of the memorial service of the DSG. Let's start with you, Mdomkulu, just on your own personal journey with the DSG.
I knew the DSG very well. I worked very close with her in the policy development process, and also she has been one of our outstanding leaders of the liberation movement. We heard about her during the trying times of the fight against apartheid, when he was one of the top underground activists of the ANC. He also worked very closely with our icon Nelson Mandela. We have lost a real, true comrade and a sister.
And someone, of course, that advocated for women's rights as well as just women in general. Talk about the patriarchy, given that she was the only leader in the top 6 of the African National Congress, and maybe changing that status quo.
Well, she was a real feminist in the true sense of the word. She used to be a real taskmaster. She championed women's rights everywhere, including in the top 6 and in the NEC in general. But also her life history shows that he worked for the liberation, total liberation of our women, not only in South Africa but across the world.
All right, thank you very much. Domkulu, thank you for joining us at eNCA. And I want to talk of how Jessie Duarte was described as a unifier, given, of course, the divisions in the African National Congress. Going into the 2017 conference, she was in the NDZ slate, but coming out of the conference, she's touted as one of those that drove the party line in bringing the party together. What lessons can the party take from the unifying figure that Jessie Duarte was?
Yes, I can confirm that Comrade Jessie was a unifier. She was not factional in anything that she was doing. She was the best representative of our generation of leaders, in that she was a principled revolutionary on any question, whether it's unity or patriarchy or gender question or non-racialism or economic emancipation. She always stood firm in her commitment to the truth and to the principles that govern the African National Congress. So she stood shoulders above most of us in the leadership of the ANC.
And just your views then in the current divisions of the party and how the ANC can be a unifying figure, given that the societal ills that play out are a resemblance of what's playing inside the ANC.
Well, unity in the ANC is sacrosanct. There's nothing bigger than unity. The very birth of the ANC represented the unity of the African people against colonialism and for land and freedom. So unity in the ANC is everything. So for us, especially Comrade Jessie, it was a big pain that she could see and experience serious divisions within the African National Congress.
And then just lastly, your personal journey with Jessie Duarte and some of what you'll remember from the DSG.
Now, I served in the NEC for a long time with her, and sometimes we would clash about views, sometimes we would differ about opinion, but at the end of the day, we would accept each other's integrity and commitment to the struggle for liberation in South Africa, and especially to the African National Congress.
Thank you very much. NEC member Tony Yengeni coming in, one of those that we've seen now trickle in inside the Johannesburg City Hall here as we come closer to the start of that memorial service, remembering the life of Jessie Duarte. We also saw David Mabuza, the Deputy President of the country, go in some minutes ago. We understand he'll be the one delivering the eulogy, as well as a tribute coming in from former President Thabo Mbeki.
Quite interestingly, I haven't seen you interview anybody from other political parties. So have you not spotted anybody maybe from another political party, an opposition party? Is it only ANC members that you've seen so far?
Well, in majority, Maseko, what you'll see here is the black, green and gold of the African National Congress, given that Jessie Duarte served in majority for the ANC. What you'll also see is a diplomatic relations people coming in as well, given that she also served as the High Commissioner to Mozambique. I'm seeing now some of the female leaders coming in, of course, to bid their farewells, final farewells at this memorial service that's to be underway at 2 p.m. I want to catch up with some of the mama. Thank you for joining us at eNCA. And we're talking about Jessie Duarte, a woman that really advocated for women's rights and women empowerment in general. I want to get your sentiments in remembering the life of Jessie Duarte.
I would like to first thank you for this opportunity and greetings to the viewers. The first and foremost, we must remember Jessie Duarte was just an ordinary woman from a township, Nuclear. So what she has achieved as a phenomenal woman, she has achieved, we can achieve it. She was a very caring person, she was dedicated, she was forthright, she was courageous, she actually was a mobilizer and an organizer for change. She was an engine of solutions. She never believed there is a task too big or a problem too complex. And she believed in a united approach, unity. That's why she was an organizer. And she has crisscrossed the whole country. There is no community that we can say, town, we can say she has not visited since her youth until now as a leader, as a veteran, and as a grandmother. So we are really privileged that we've had such a phenomenal woman amongst us, and we are here to say, let her spirit live on and let her soul rest in peace.
What can the party learn from leaders like Jessie Duarte, especially the women leaders, where she'd serve among men, especially now in the top 6 leadership? What can the party and the women learn from such leaders? Comrade
Jessie Duarte was born as a single girl amongst boys, so it is her life, a life she has lived, and that's why she was at ease. For her, it was not being a woman amongst males, but for her, it was living her life. And I think us as women and also as men can accept that women must also live their lives, and they can live their lives nowhere else than where they stay, where they work, in our parliaments, in our institution, in our corporates. So let's allow women to live their lives, because women's rights are human rights everywhere, and a country that does not mainstream its women's involvement, actually it loses out on the input that women can make. So Comrade Jessie Duarte appreciated that women's rights are human rights, and that women must equally contribute in as much as women must also be affirmed. So she was a liberator herself, and she lived a life of inspiration, and she was forthright. If you are wrong, you're wrong. Doesn't matter what power you hold, where you come from. But she was also very loving and kind. And we want to thank the family for sharing her, a formidable woman like that, with our country.
Right. Thank you very much, Ma. A liberator that was very inspirational and that called a spade a spade. Some of the sentiments that we're getting here as we now go closer to 2 p.m. where, of course, we expecting that official memorial service that remembers the life and times of Ma Jessie Duarte. We're even seeing Paul Mashatile just on the sidelines here, looking like possibly he's waiting for the former President Thabo Mbeki to come now.
And we did see him speak at her funeral service, of course, Aviwe, on Sunday at the West Park Cemetery. And what's important about Mashatile is that he forms part of that top 6, and now he takes full control of Luthuli House.
Are we even seeing Lebohang Maile come in, of course, for the memorial service himself? I want to actually come closer here and see if we can get a word with Dr. Paul Mashatile. Thank you for joining us at the eNCA. Just a quick word. You served alongside Ma Jessie Duarte in the top 6 structures of the ANC. Maybe you'll give us insight of the type of leader he was among those men that served there.
Yeah. Indeed, I worked with Comrade Jessie for many years, from the time of the UDF. We worked together during the underground struggles, but immediately after the unbanning, she was part of the team that I worked with to rebuild the structures of the ANC. Hardworking as always, selfless, committed. Comrade Jessie was not the one to complain. But she was forthright. If she doesn't agree with something, you will know. So we are really saddened by her passing. We are poorer without Comrade Jessie, but we are coming here to pay tribute to her life. We want to continue her legacy of hard work, of commitment to the service of our people. And of course, we once again want to convey our sincere condolences to Comrade Jessie's family, the children and the grandchildren, but also condolences to all members of the ANC wherever they are, because Comrade Jessie was a mother, a sister to all of us.
All right, thank you very much. Paul Mashatile is among the 4 men that lead the top 4 of the ANC. Of course, the DSG, Jessie Duarte, was among the top 5, being the only female leader in that structure. She'll be then remembered here at the Johannesburg City Hall at 2 p.m. today.
All right, Aviwe Mtila with that report from outside the Johannesburg City Hall in the city centre. Let's leave it there for now.